What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to check out the planned balance changes in the upcoming season, and we're also going to be on the test server testing it live for you guys as well. I did glance over it yesterday and there are a lot of good changes here, but also a lot of unnecessary changes. First off is ram damage. Base ram damage increased by 10%, reduce the bonus to ram damage for bumpers, passive melee parts, goblin, gremlin, draco, and remove the bonus completely for bastion. Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm guessing someone was abusing the bastion cabin as a ram build, because I did see a build like that and I do want to try it out before this change then. Next up we have the Yongwang, the Fortune, and the Porcupine. They're gonna disable the projectile's inertia. Now this is for me, I don't know what inertia exactly means. So inertia is the tendency of objects in motion to stay in motion and objects at rest to stay at rest, unless a force causes its speed or direction to change. So if I understand this correctly, they're gonna disable inertia. So if you're moving at 100 kilometers per hour, your projectile should fire faster out of your launcher. That's what I'm understanding, but let's check it out. Okay, right now we have the Fortune and the Porcupine. That's about what I expect. And if I'm going faster now, it should still fire extremely... Oh, okay, this is what they mean. It fires slower out of your build. Got it, because you're moving at a certain speed. Okay. I don't like it for Porcupines. And even for Fortunes. Yeah, they move a little bit. I don't know, for Fortune, it might be okay. But they'll go a lot less further. And yeah, look at that randomness over there. It definitely goes less further. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. Especially the Porcupines. Yeah, I almost hit my own Porcupine. I don't know about this. Yeah, I don't know about this. I liked it more when you're driving at maximum speed. You can still shoot and they'll go maximum distance. I'm not a fan of this change, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. So if maybe a dev watches, you can also get the feedback from there. For the Tempest, rate of fire increased by 15%, heating rate reduced by 20%, and because of those stages, they're gonna increase the time to overheat by 9%. Now, I recently made a video on the Tempest, and they're fine. They have a ton of durability. They're fine for their power score and the rarity. The only other weapon that people say is better is the Synthesis on specific builds. But let's check it out. So this is what the Tempest will be like after the update. I mean, I do enjoy a buff is a buff. I don't mind the buff. I just don't think it was necessary. Maybe only a fire rate increase. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fine. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually just fine. I don't mind this change, to be honest. Next up, we have a buff for the Prosecutor 76mm. Projectile speed increased by 18%. And penetration ability increased from 25 to 50%. Remember when they overbuffed these and then they immediately nerfed it? It was fine back then. Cannons actually felt good, but then they went ahead and nerfed it. But let's check it out. Hey, that's a tiny build. So it's probably gonna, yeah, that's gonna die fast. Let's check it out on that beefy hover build. All right, 450 damage. 500 damage. Back when they overbuffed it, it would do 1100 damage, which might be a little bit high for prosecutors. I think it's a deserved buff. Cannons need some love. Cannons really need some love. So they think this buff will fix the weapon. I hope so, man. I hope so. The Carapace cabin is also getting a buff. Perk bonus to weapons reload speed increased from 30 to 40%, and the perk's active time increased from 6 to 8 seconds. So it's a welcome change. They're also buffing the Echo cabin, that's why. And now for the Clarinetto. The Clarinetto is getting a complete rework. They'll be adding a perk that will increase the damage depending on the modules installed on the vehicle, similar to the Yongwang. The energy drain will be increased from 10 to 20 points. Power score increased from 1350 to 2700. Added 150 points to the damage upon hit and 100% penetration ability. Control of the vehicle now returns to the player in the second phase of the rocket's flight. I think when you press the boost button, when the rocket is launched into an unguided... Yeah, okay, yeah, that's why. Okay. Time before you can transition from the first phase of the rocket's flight into the second phase reduced from 1 to 0.3 seconds, so you can immediately do it. And they'll be speeding up the return of the control of the vehicle after the rocket has detonated. Okay, Nothing about the durability, but let's check it out. I want the developers to add free flight to this thing. I mean, it's 20 energy power drain. Durability is still only 172. You can hide it between your builds, but I believe there was a limitation on how you could mount it. You cannot flip it, you cannot point it upwards, you can only mount it facing forward. So I hope they also fix that or change that. Looking at the perk, it's nice to have a different perk, but looking at it, like, you know, the Yongwang, how the Yongwang works, it only works if you have a bunch of modules to increase the damage. But if you do that, your power score might be like what, 10, 12k, and I don't really see the tow missile working at that power score. So I'm not sure where they were going with this change because we don't have free flight, but let's check it out. Huh, okay, that was interesting. All right, that was very interesting. Let me check if I'm recording real quick. Yes, I am. All right, let's shoot at that hover. 580. Okay, reload is pretty decent with the K2. And I can... Okay, you can do that now, but you still need to wait for the reload. Oh, so as soon as you fire, you can go back into your build. Oh, that was good. Man, we waited 5 years for this change. 5 years for this change. Okay, so the damage is still a bit underwhelming. For an epic weapon, that is... Oh, no. Oh, my bad. We need to add modules to increase the damage. So now we're getting 21% more damage because of these parts. Now, I do wish there was a number attached to the toe to see how much damage buff we get. I think some small changes like that would make the game a little bit more enjoyable, for me at least. All right, we're gonna remove everything and check out the damage now. We were doing 500 damage. Oh, still 500. Interesting. I know it's a little bit inconsistent because you don't have free flight, so I can't even use a damage sphere. It still does quite a bit of damage. All right, let's check it out on that car build again. Last time I blew up my car in one shot. Wait, I got an idea. Hold on, I got an idea. All right, we just have a humpback cabin, so nothing to interfere with our damage. Let's see how much damage we do. 348. And because of the blast radius, you get a little bit more damage. All right, let's confirm it again. It's probably gonna blow up. Oh, wow. Penetration ability 100%. We just went through them. That's interesting. All right, let's add a little bit more durability to this thing. So now this thing has 1800 durability. So let's increase the damage a little bit. Okay, so now we're maxed out on energy. So let's do the math. So we're getting 18 from the legendary items. We're getting 21 from the epic items. And then we have 2 special items that will give us 10 in total. So we have 49% more damage right now. Let's check out the difference. 700 damage. And let's check out our power score. Already 10k. Yeah, no thanks. I think they need to buff it a little bit more. They need to buff it a little bit more. Yes, you can do that now. And, you know, you still need to wait on the reload. Yeah, it's still not as effective. They could leave it like this, but they need to give it free flight. So it's a good change. Step in the right direction, devs. Appreciate that, but it needs a little bit more. Next up, the elephant cannon. If you don't own an elephant yet, you probably won't be able to buy one anymore. The projectile now deals cryogenic damage upon detonation and freezes parts up to 25%. That is a completely unexpected buff. I'm not against it. I actually quite like it. It's actually pretty good. And I recently also made a video on the elephants that, you know, nobody uses it. Well, now we have a reason to use it. The radius of the projectile explosion is reduced by 30%, makes sense. And move the weapons to cryogenic category. Now, I believe you won't be able to do cannon challenges anymore then. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it's over here now. Did they change the model of it? Yeah, they made it look a little bit more silver. It used to be, it had a copperish look. All right, they did change the model a little bit. All right, pretty solid, pretty solid. So right now it has 2 perks. It still has the old perk, but now it also does cryogenic damage. That's pretty cool. All right, let's check it out. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah, that's pretty nice. That's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very, very interesting. They're also buffing the treasures again. Perk damage bonus increased from 7 to 8%, and the perk now stacks up to 6 times instead of 5 before. So they're making it even stronger. They're also planning to buff the executioner. I missed this one. It seems like they realize cannons need more love because they're pretty much obsolete. Projectile speed increased by 18%. penetration ability increased from 30 to 50%. That is actually pretty good. I'm happy with this change because they buffed the 88s a lot this past year. More durability, more penetration, more explosion, more damage, everything. But it's still kind of underwhelming with the meta. We have Mortas, we have Omamores, we have a lot of machine guns, imps, Gravistars, Fire Dogs. Everything is better than the 88s. The AC-64 Jewel is also getting a damage increase. Yeah, it's a pack-only item. It's kind of expensive, and it doesn't really do anything special, so I'm okay with this change. I just released a flute video. I didn't even post a video, and they kind of felt like the flute needed some love. The flute is also getting a change. Perk change to hitting the target increases the damage by 14%. The bonus stacks up to 5 times. Each miss reduces the number of accumulated hits. And the base damage is increased by 38%. I don't really like the perk. It is really hard to hit with the flute. So if they could give it something else, that would be kind of cool. Okay, so right now I have 5 flutes on my build. 5 flutes is the optimal because recently in my video I tried 6, but you're gonna have to compromise with your build and par score gets too high and all that stuff. So let me try out 5 and see what the base damage is. And did you see the animation? It looked, the flame effect, it looked normal. But right now, since they're buffed, it's gonna be like you're using a dust cavern. See, the flame effect is a little bit more spread out. I want to charge up the shots and see how much damage we do. Previously, they also had a lifetime, so I'm also gonna check that out. How long the lifetime is of the flutes now. The max charge is 5. Damage seems okay, but I don't know. Landing your shots can be kind of tricky sometimes. There we go. We got 5 times the charge. Let's check out the damage now. Reload is also a bit long. 765. That's pretty decent. And on the hover, we did like 17 hundo. Let's check out the lifetime now, because previously you would see a timer on how long it could fly, but now I believe it doesn't have a lifetime. Yeah, pretty long. I'm not a fan of this perk. It's gonna be very inconsistent because some rockets will hit and some will miss, and you'll get mixed perks, which that's not the worst thing in the world. But I'll see, some of them are, one of my rockets landed, but the other 4 missed. See, that's what I meant. It's gonna be a little bit inconsistent. Not really a fan of this perk. I think what they should change is give it more durability. Reduce the energy drain to 3 or maybe 2. I think 2 might be a little bit busted. Reduce the power score and increase the rocket turn speed. If you do that, I think this is going to be a very, very good weapon. So I can't really say that this is a good change. It's just going to be different. The damage increase is good, but the perk itself is still garbage. They're also going to change the Yang Wang. Added a mechanic to reduce the number of projectiles in the volley from 5 to 2 in the Yang Wang. Wait, what? No. Okay, so they're completely screwing over the Yang Wang. Added a mechanic to reduce the number of projectiles in the volley from 5 to 2 if the Yang Wang is upside down. God damn it, that was the only useful way to use the Yang Wang. That thing has no gun depression. Perk bonuses from the modules of each rarity is now 1% higher, and the durability got increased. Bruh, that is the only way the Yang Wang was effective, man. Have it underslung under your build. God damn, the game is called Craft, right? Destroy. Craft something fun, destroy players, and have fun, have a laugh. So right now, if we use it like this, we'll get 5 volleys. Oh god. And if you mount it upside down, let me see how I'm gonna do this. Hold on, fellas. Yeah, so now if I mount it upside down, I can only fire 2. Oh my god, it's kind of like the horizontal Mandrake nerf. Oh god. Oh god. And the thing still has no depression. How the F do you want me to protect this thing, devs? Oh, what about sideways? What about sideways? Because this might still be a thing then. Okay, sideways still works. Well, guys, this is your only way. Have it boxed in a build. And yeah, just do that, I guess. Let's see, maybe you can lock it in place. Okay, you can still fire on the ground and have it sideways. So, if you somehow lock it, guys, you might still be able to get away with it. Of course, the inertia thing is still messing me up. Yeah, I don't like the inertia change. It's gonna... yeah, inertia change is no bueno. Yeah, I don't like this Yongwang change. Like, personally, I don't have any issues with Yongwangs. But the reason they might be doing this is because of the hover nerf. I noticed in Uranium Wars, where I played my hover, Porcupines and Yongwang builds had a very hard time dealing with hovers. Or with me, because I was using a hover. Not a big fan of this change, to be honest. Yongwangs personally struggle already. Just leave them as they are. Now, I do want to say that most of the Yongwang builds I faced are smaller, around 10k power score. Some of them are undermounted, and I don't really have issues with them. Some of them are top-mounted. Again, no issues. Those ones are super easy to deal with because you just focus on the gun and it's off. But maybe in Clan Wars, these builds might be super effective because I've seen some pretty massive bricks with Yongwangs underneath. I'm not sure how effective that is, so maybe that's why they're changing it. Next up, we all knew this one was coming. The Raijin is getting nerfed. Damage reduced by 11%. Durability nerfed to 1281 points. Perks damage and damage protection bonus increased from 7 to 12, so that's a buff. Perk now deactivates 10 seconds after the last hit. And rotation speed reduced by 32%. Yeah, so this thing basically had characteristics of a light weapon, but did the damage of a heavy weapon. So, okay, good nerf, good nerf. I personally think it's still gonna be effective, and the Raijin was the only weapon in the game that actually took multiple shots from the structures. I was actually blown away when I saw that. Of course, with Omamori and all the other damage reduction buffs, but that was very impressive. They're also gonna nerf the Tachi. The Tachi is such an unpopular weapon. Nobody uses it. I recently did get a bunch of builds with Cockpit, Cabin, and Tachi because apparently that's the only way it's effective. So they're changing that. They're now changing the perk. If the direction of the vehicle's movement does not match the direction of the Tachi's activation, the length of the damage zone will be significantly increased. They're also going to reduce the base damage zone length. It is now equal to the zone of the Tempura. Oh, that's garbage. Active time reduced from 2 to 1.2 seconds. That's also garbage. And the damage increased by 125%. All right, let's see what they mean. So right now we have a Tachi and a Tempura. Oh, ew. What is that? What is that? Oh god. And check. It still shows you the entire length. Okay, so if I mount it like this then. What the hell is that, dude? What is that? That's a puny... Is it really that bad, Devs? Is it really that bad that you need to make this change? Oh my god. So according to the description, if I move like this, it should increase the length. Yeah, okay. But if I stand still, it's still pretty short. So the activation range or the activation direction needs to be the opposite of the vehicle's traveling direction. So this is still, oh god. Because people were basically using it as lances. I get it, I get it, I get it. I get it. But man, that just sucks, man. We now have 2 Tempuras basically. What's the point then? I mean, did you guys have any troubles with Tachi builds? Were they really that powerful? I haven't really run into Tachi builds, to be honest. I've seen people use them, but they didn't really seem like super annoying like the Tuscabas or the Raijins. So the Tachi is probably gonna be super unpopular and no one will pick it up. Kind of sucks, especially for a pack item. I know they keep doing this, but it's just bad move, Devs. Bad move. They're also nerfing the Jotuns. The puddle now reduces power and speed by 17% instead of 33 before. And then they kind of made a mistake here, but they're also nerfing the Aurora. Heating rate reduced from 20 to 10% per second. And they say it has too much efficiency when used with miniguns. But it's been like this since the very birth of Crossout. But I know why they did this. They added a perk to Auroras where you can upgrade them for more part heating rate. This one doesn't have it. But let me just show you guys an example. You can increase the thermal effect rate, and this made them a little bit too powerful. So people are kind of, well, I wouldn't say abusing this, but people are using this specific fusion or upgrade, and it makes them really, really effective. And so they're planning to nerf it, which will make them less effective for the upgraded fusions, but they're completely screwing over the non-upgraded free-to-play players. I honestly don't agree with this change. It's kind of unnecessary. They don't need to nerf the Aurora. On its own, if you use triple Aurora, it's alright. It's pretty decent. I mean, you use 3, so that's 3 times the heating rate, but it's still not super busted or anything. So, Unnecessary change in my opinion. They're also nerfing the Spectre 2s. Yep, the Spectre 2 is pretty powerful. Not a big nerf, but you know, it's understandable. It is still one of the better machine guns out there. They're buffing the Manitao cabin. The maximum bonus to revolvers reload speed increased from 30 to 50% and removed the reloading of the perk. Okay. Reloading of the perk. What do they mean by that? Let's check it out. Oh, I see what they mean. It had a perk to where if you fired all your rounds but one, all of your shots would be reloaded and deal, I think, 100% more damage or something like that. But they removed that. So now if I use my, let's say, Corvo. Oh, I don't think I have revolvers on this account. This is like the test account. Yeah, I don't think I have any type. Oh, I have Athenas. Let's check out Athenas. Oh yeah, they're also changing the Athenas a little bit. Should be easier to aim with on a moving build with less spread. So let's check that out as well. Yeah. This is how the Athena already was, but they nerfed it because it was too effective. And now they're reverting that. That's so funny. These deaths are funny. But basically now, if I shoot once or twice, and I do the reload, still kind of garbage to be honest. Yeah, the reload is still garbage. Huh, okay. Yeah, you can reload instantly. That's kind of cool. And there's no cooldown time for the reload perk. So it could work. It could work. It could work. It's just that revolvers in this game have different capacities. So for the Lucifer, it might actually be pretty good. But for the Athena, oh, maybe the new rocket launcher, but I don't know. We'll have to see. It's a good change for the Manitao cabin. That cabin was garbage. They're also buffing the Echo perk. The perk's bonus to weapon reload speed increased from 50 to 65%. So I believe that is the same as the Hadron cabin now. When you use the Kingbind, the new reload module and all that stuff. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I think. And the perk's active time is increased from 7 to 10 seconds. My main issue with the Echo cabin is the way you get the perk. For me personally, it takes way too long to get it. Echo, yes. It takes way too long to get, and it only lasts for a couple of seconds. So let's just use a random weapon. Okay, we're gonna try it out with a Quasar. So right now there's only one target nearby, so it's charging pretty slow. The more targets there are nearby, the faster it will charge. Like with 3 targets nearby, that pretty much means you're dead, because if 3 people are shooting you, you're pretty much done. So let's check it out. That's 65% extra reload. Not bad. The duration is actually not that bad. Yeah. My issue with the Echo cabin is the way you get the perk. The charge time is a bit too long for my liking. I much rather use the Hadron cabin or Omnibox cabin and reload modules. That way I always have a fast reload instead of using whatever this is. They're planning to increase the traction of all tracks, so that should be good. I think the only one they should not do this for is the small tracks. I personally love the way it drifted, but I know some people didn't really like that. They're also making changes to the Goliath track. The bonus of durability of attached parts increased from 10 to 25%. Oh, interesting. That's actually quite nice. And their comment is the change encourages building a vehicle with focus on the perk, which is not currently used very often. Yeah, it's why would you put something on your track that you will lose super fast? They're also making changes to the Gorilla leg. Durability increased to 435, tonnage increased to 1500, and slightly increased the traction. So hopefully it won't be able to get pushed over like by a little car. The JBRider is getting a lot of changes. Perk maximum bonus is now accumulated at 30,000 kilos of mass instead of 20,000 kilos before. Perk's maximum damage bonus increased from 200 to 400. Added damage protection bonus to perk equal to 200% of the mass of 300 kilograms. Durability reduced from 820 to 550 points. Not really a fan of that. I'll let you guys know in a minute. Mass reduced from 1100 to 730. Fire and cryogenic damage resistance increased from 25 to 40%. So I hate when devs make so many changes to a part because it completely fucks them over. So they're adding a damage protection perk to the movement parts, but I believe it's gonna be damage protection, so it's gonna be countered or negated by cryogenic effects. They're increasing the cryogenic resistance, but up to 40%. But doesn't that mean it will still negate the protection, because that's how cryogenic mechanics work? So it's a mess. I'm not sure why they're doing all of this, but it's gonna be a mess. I think the durability was fine. Leave it as it is. And add other, I don't know. This one's a mess. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Let me quickly do a test. All right, let's see what happens if I let my car sit on a Jotun puddle for a bit. It's a lot of damage for a Jotun, man. God dang. It's actually pretty nuts. All right, nothing happened. And there they go. Yeah, so the cryogenic effect completely negates... Oh yeah, I don't have a super high mass limit build, so that's probably why. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know they were kind of unpopular, but that's because the way they move. I'm not so sure what to say about this change. I personally don't like it. It's too much at once. And I think these are gonna negate each other. Now for the big one. A lot of people are happy about this. The Icarus 4, Icarus 7 flight altitude reduced. For the Icarus 4, reduced by 1.33 pins. And for the 7, reduced by 3 pins. That's a lot. And they also both got their tonnage reduced. Damn. That means we're gonna have to change all of our hover builds again. Let's check it out real quick. Porch will definitely touch you now. Young banks might not touch you. Alright, interesting. And these are Icarus 4s, which I'm not really a fan of, but we'll have to see how it works out in PvP. I just wish my hover builds were protected from fire dogs a little bit better when they rush up on me, because once they pin me down, there's nothing you could do. And if your hover was high enough, you could usually just bounce off the roof and, you know, go get behind them and, you know, take them out. But if your hover is lower, once you're pinned, you're pretty much done for. Something that I've also noticed while playing hovers recently is that heavy brick builds, shotgun or flame builds, can easily catch up to me and take me out. I don't think that should be a thing. I'm okay if light fast builds catch up to me as a hover player, but not a big heavy build. And that's why the Yokozuna was also very popular, I believe, because they could just hit that VTech and everybody was able to catch up with hovers. So I think they also need to work on that balancing situation. Heavy cabs should not be super fast to catch up to hovers, but it should be okay if builds with light cabins do it. You know, something like that. They're reducing the Bygram speed in leg mode from 55 to 45 again. Wow. And they're also going to reduce the traction. The Bygrams, man, they are so rough to use, but I think they are doing it because I've seen the meta at top tier Clan Wars. They're those big, super beefy spider builds, and they're a little bit too fast for the amount of mass they are carrying around and durability. So maybe that's why they're doing it, but I don't know. They're also buffing the Athena a little bit. I already showed you the effect earlier. The effect of speed on the spread is reduced in half, so you know that's good. The Scotty is getting a damage increase by 12%. The Harvester is also getting a nice perk buff. Now accumulates in 0.5 seconds instead of 1 second before, and it stacks up to 8 times instead of 7 before, so that's a nice buff. The Kaiju is getting an interesting change. They removed the negative effect during charging, which, you know, a lot of people complained about. The damage is increased by 8%, which is good. Rotation speed, oh, this one's really good. Rotation speed increased by 80%, but, this is a big but, the charge shot can only be held for 4 seconds, which is not a lot. I believe the Raijin is even more than that. So let's quickly check. All right, let's do a quick count because I forgot to count. I didn't see the indicator. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I did that in Dutch by just by accident, but that's 4 seconds. And the Kaiju should now do the exact same. So now if we do the Kaiju, oh, look at that top speed, baby. 70 kilometers per hour. Oh man, Kaiju on hovers are gonna be a thing now. Interesting. Okay, these are gonna be deadly. Kaiju hovers. Yeah, because the recoil is also not that insane. That doesn't really affect your hover. Very, very interesting. Alright, I kind of like this change. It's okay. I like it. They're also changing the Cyclone a bit. It's a small nerf, not that big. Maximum rate of fire is now achieved after 6 seconds instead of 4 before. Cyclone's still super effective in my opinion. A lot of people think it's fine, but this small change might make it perfect now. The Draco is getting their damage reduced by 12%. Some people said it wasn't enough, but it's a start, man. It's a start. The Yokozuna is getting a big change. The mass limit is reduced from 21k to 19k. Power also reduced by 9%, and the perk active time is now reduced to 10 seconds. I think the only thing that might affect it is the mass limit. The other stuff is still pretty fine. They're also changing the Apollo a little bit, but this is not the main issue. Durability increased from 427 to 515. But that's not the main issue. I stopped using the Apollo. The Apollo was my favorite generator out there, and I would always recommend everybody to get it for their first legendary item. But this is my issue now. Look at the freaking damage on destruction. If somebody shoots this thing, and this thing is massive, you need to hide it well in your, oh, well, not well. It's gonna be somewhere that touches everything on your build. So once it pops, your build's gonna pop. So I disagree with the amount of damage it does now. If they change that back to before, I think this will be a popular generator again. I mean, it is a solid legendary generator. It's just the amount of damage it deals right now is just bonkers. They're also changing the Scorpion. The damage reduction rate upon piercing parts reduced by 15%. And they say it should strengthen the Scorpion's perk. You know, I don't even know what the Scorpion's perk is at the moment. I stopped reading that. Let me check real quick. Projectile piercer sparks through with gradual loss of damage. Kind of a stupid perk. That's why I stopped reading it. They've changed the Scorpion so many times, I just stopped reading the description. And now for the Porcupines, another unnecessary change. Blast damage reduced by 11%. Reload time increased to 3.5 seconds and maximum ammo reduced from 16 to 12. Why? Okay, let me read why. Extremely efficient weapon with very high damage and rate of fire. Even for a relic rarely, reducing the maximum ammo will additionally limit the possibility of uncontrollably throwing barrels all over the battlefield. That is the whole point of Porcupines, my guy. Alright, let me quickly use a Porcupine. I'm not sure if the devs understand this. They're adding modules to the game that increases the efficiency of weapons and other stuff. Look at my reload right now. It's not that great. It's not that great. But of course, if you add things like the Hadron Cabin that can be used with a King Mine and a reload module, of course the reload is gonna be bonkers. Yeah, look at that. Of course it's gonna be quick. And this is how I use most of my reload-based weapons, because I think the reload of most items is way too long compared to someone who can just roll up with machine guns and drill you. Their cooldown time and their overheating rate is so good, but for cannons or reload-based weapons, it's not the best, except for Nidhogg. Nidhoggs and those type of shotguns are pretty solid. And that's it for the plant changes so far. I hope they don't go through with the Porcupine change. The Scorpion change is fine. The Apollo needs less explosive damage. Yokozuna seems fine. Draco seems a good start. Cyclops is good. Kaiju seems solid. Harvester's good. Scatty, I'm okay with. Athena's solid. Bigrams, we'll have to see. I'm not really a Bigram user, but we'll have to see. The Hover seem okay, but the tonnage change is gonna screw up all my builds. The meat grinder change is just complicated. I don't know why they're doing all that. The Gorilla seems fine. The tracks seem fine. The Echo change is a good start, at least a little bit more. Manitao Cabin, good start. Spectre is fine. Yotun, we'll have to see. I don't really use the Yotuns. The Tachi seems unnecessary, but we'll have to see. Raijin, understandable. The Yongwang, the upside down change, I don't agree with. That is just stupid. Flute, good start, but it needs more stuff added to it. The Jewel is okay. The Executioner, okay. Treasure is good. Elephant change is good. The Toe change is a good start, but it needs a lot more done. Carapace is fine. Prosecutor fine. Tempest is okay. And the Inertia is bad. Don't go through with this. I don't like it. You guys can decide for your own, because we'll have like a poll where you guys can decide if you like it or not. I personally don't like it. It seems like the projectile speed of the item is completely zero when you shoot it, especially when you're driving fast. So it's gonna make driving and shooting them a little bit trickier. And they're planning to nerf the Porcupine and everything as well. Like, so I don't. Unnecessary. And the ram damage, well, I guess that's fine. So that was it for today's video, guys. I usually don't have time to hop on the test server, but if you guys liked it, I'll do my best in the future as well. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you like videos like this. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, I hope I earned a like and a subscription to the channel again. And if you guys want to see more, you can click one of these two videos over here, and I'll see you there in a minute. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace.